project. Oh, you can go ahead and start recording. We've got this beautiful project right here. She finished building and also finished smoothing it out. So after you finish building, then smoothing out, the next step is to deal with the lip design. So you guys need to make sure before you do this, you'll need to grab your final sketch to see exactly what it was that you designed, okay? If you do feel like you need to make any changes to that design, you would want to talk with me about those changes before you actually implement them, okay? So I'm always open to revising your ideas as long as we discuss it before you actually do anything. So what I had her do was I had her very lightly with her fettling knife draw on here where she wants to cut, okay? And you want to just do it very lightly so that in case you don't like what you have, you can just go back over it with your finger, smudge it back out, and redraw again, okay? So when you're drawing it on here with the knife, you are barely touching the clay. You're not cutting into it. You're just basically drawing lines on there. Does everybody understand that part? Okay. So now her design directly relates to where she's going to be putting the texture. So she had to draw out where even the texture was going to go to know how to cut the lip. So that's why when you look at this project, you can see she's got lines that go all the way down because she's going to be filling some of this up with her texture. And again, it relates to the design she has up here at the top, okay? Now for some of you guys, you will only be drawing that lip design at the top. Some of you will not need to worry about drawing it all out, okay? So after you get it drawn on there, call me over. I want to check it before we do any cutting. So I've already approved this, so she's ready to cut. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your fettling knife, okay? And you're just going to cut it in pieces, basically. It's not always a good idea to try and cut this all at one time. If your clay is a little bit on the drier side, you may not be able to cut through it right away, so you may have to kind of cut halfway through the clay and then go back over and do it again. So I'm just going to follow this line. I'm going to take my time. Try to keep this knife kind of steady. Cut that section off. There. So there's that piece off, okay? So when you look at that, you'll notice that the edge looks really rough, okay? The trick to making this look really nice and finished, after you do any kind of cleanup work that you need to, I'm gonna just kind of cut off, there's a little bump right here. Still there. All right, so after you get that kind of cleaned up, the trick of it is to take your fingers, dip them into the water, and you're just going to take it and you're going to kind of wrap your finger around the corner here so it kind of rounds off and cleans up your edge. I'm not soaking this with water. I've just got wet fingers. That's basically all that I've got, okay? So I'm just going to dip my fingers into the water, wrap my fingers around the edge of the corner here of the clay, just to kind of smooth it out, round them off. And I'm going to do that all along this cut that I just made. This is the only time you're going to hear me say, get water on your hands and put it on your project, okay? We're not going to be doing that any other time. And then you got a nice clean cut edge. So you can see how much better this looks than this up here. You know, this is kind of bumpy, unfinished. This has got a nice clean cut, really refined, looks nice, okay? So she would then go and cut this other section off. She's got another section that she needs to cut off right there. Now, when you cut the lips off, this might open up your project to the inside. If your inside looks really bumpy, you may need to go in and start smoothing some of that out too, because that's more exposed now, okay? So, after you finish smoothing, this is the next step. That's it.